Hello everyone. Welcome to Glorious Truths Untold. The Return of Elijah. Today we're continuing with the fascinating and profoundly significant topic of the return of Elijah the prophet before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. Revelation 11 and the loud cry. The two witnesses prophesy. And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. Revelation 11 verse 3. In Revelation 11 verse 3, the two witnesses were given the task of prophesying for 1,260 days. These witnesses primarily represent the Old and New Testaments, highlighting the Old and New Covenants. All through history, the teachings of the Bible have faced fierce opposition from the adversary of truth. Societies of Sodom and Egypt, which are characterized by atheism, moral decline, and idolatry, saw the Bible condemned. During the 1,260 years of papal dominance, from 538 to 1798, these two witnesses were compelled to operate in obscurity, while the Bible faced condemnation once more. In more recent history, the events that took place in Sodom and Egypt were mirrored in France during the French Revolution, which lasted from 1789 to 1799. The period in France, characterized by atheism, moral decline, and idolatry where the Bible was condemned, is expected to be repeated globally as we approach the end of time. The two witnesses likened to two olive trees. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. Revelation 11 verse 4. Though the two witnesses primarily symbolize the Old and New Testaments, there is also a secondary application. In Zechariah 4 verse 3 and Zechariah 4 verses 11 to 14, where they represent Zerubbabel and Joshua, they are said to be two olive trees. These human beings laid out themselves, their gifts and wealth, in rebuilding and finishing the temple. Intimately associated with Joshua, the high priest, was Zerubbabel, governor of Judea. So it was under the leadership of these two men that the remnant of Israel returned at the close of the 70 years captivity. So they also led out in the reestablishment of the ancient worship at Jerusalem. In the second year of Cyrus, Zerubbabel laid the cornerstone of the temple. It was indeed Zerubbabel and Joshua who, in response to the messages of the Lord through Haggai and Zechariah, rose up with courage renewed, and once more began to build the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. So these men were true leaders, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people was largely influenced by the cheerful willingness with which they carried out the Lord's commands. Review and Herald, January 16, 1908, paragraph 1. In Revelation 11, the two anointed witnesses are Moses and Elijah, who, like Zerubbabel and Joshua, also sacrificed in the rebuilding and finishing of the temple, in successive phases of apostasy among God's people. The return of the Israelites from Babylon to Jerusalem under Zerubbabel and Joshua is a type of the return of ancient Israel from Egypt to Canaan under Moses, and of the return of final spiritual Israel from the bondage of sin to the presence of God under Elijah. Divided Israel and its final restoration to divine favor as one united people is a type of spiritual Israel, the church of God on earth today, to whom will finally be fulfilled all the covenant promises. At the start of the Old Covenant era, God worked mightily through Moses to deliver his people from bondage in Egypt and restore them to true worship. At the end of the New Covenant era, he will again work mightily through Elijah to deliver his people from slavery to sin and restore in them the image of Christ. They will render to the true and living God voluntary allegiance based on love, not selfishness. The two witnesses are likened to two olive trees because of the oil of grace and the truth that resides within them. This analogy also stems from the gifts of the Spirit of God that they received, along with the Spirit of truth that teaches us all things. They generously shared their gifts and the precious oil of the gospel with others. At the same time, they spread the joyful message of peace and salvation through Christ, symbolized by the olive leaf. Much like the olive tree, which is lush, thriving, and fruitful in spiritual matters, they are considered sons of oil and the anointed ones of God. Stay tuned for part 3 on Revelation 11 and the loud cry. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to receive updates whenever we share new content. Thanks for joining us today. Take care. Bye for now.